What is going on, man? It's Adam before Eve. We're back in the building with another video, man. Um, what I want to talk about tonight is status, right? What is status? How do we use status? Is status better than money? Status overlooks, where do it fall at within the tools of the dating game, of meeting and dating when it comes to being a man? First, before we talk about all that, let's understand what is status, right? Status is just a highly respected or regarded person. They're of high notoriety within whatever fucking warm social environment setting, right? This can be employment, this can be schools, this can be, religious practices, whatever, right? We know different from like wolves or some shit where you got the alpha dog beating up the other alpha dogs and the whole pack following him. And he get first dibs on the women within the pack, just like lions or just like, several different examples of animals on this planet that work within hierarchies and stuff like that. It's animals within that same species that is just more important than the other animals within that same species, right? Most motherfuckers have had first hand knowledge or, seats to witnessing this shit. This is why you go to work and you got the boss, you got the GM, you got the motherfucking district manager, right? And a whole lot of dick sucking. Right. This is why you go to school and you got the principal. Below the principals, you got the teachers. Below the teachers, you got the students. Right. Within the students, you got the jocks. Right. You got the cheerleaders. And below these people is the nerds. So it's safe to say, like, status is just a person of high notoriety within a social setting. That's all it is. And if you may ask the question, like, why is that? Simple. It can be off your resources. Maybe he come from a fluent, very popular or powerful family. It could be outside of money, right? It could be for some taboo, right? Maybe hoes got word that you got a fucking baby leg that you carrying around and putting hoes to sleep on camera, right? So you're gonna have status. That's something you known for. That is something that draws a lot of women to you. And that's definitely a status symbol. It can be off high achievement. All right, maybe you a guy that have fucking rush for 1,000 fucking running yards within the high school football season. No other kid did that. You have a high probability of going to the NFL. Or you the fastest track runner that ran a fucking 4.3 under 10 seconds or 8 seconds or some crazy shit. And you got a good chance of going to the Olympics. People and women would want to be associated and drawn to you off of that. That is a status symbol. Right. What's another one? High S&V. Right. If you look good, even scientists have did studies and shit on this. Just because you are attractive as a person would just get you jobs, get you friends, have family members treating you better than other family members, right? They did a study on this shit. It's just human fucking autonomy, bro. So that just looking good and having good genes and being in shape could literally be your status also. Um, just like if you have like a super low SMV or a low SMV, if you have status, women would ignore that. Maybe you're a celebrity or have a lot of resources or some shit, or an athlete, and opposite sex to be willing to ignore your low SMV due to your status, i.e. Travis Hunter and his bitch. If you niggas don't know the story. Basically what happened was, his girl really ain't like him. They went to the same school or whatever the fuck. He used to always have a crush on her and try her, and she passed the dude up. And when the girl who Travis liked brother got word that Travis been trying to shoot at his sister for a long time, and his sister was just ignoring the guy. The brother ended up getting in the sister ear, was like, bitch, like, I don't know what you got going, but sister, like, we need him. Right? Don't fucking pass the dude up. Like, you don't know who this nigga is. I know who this nigga is. This dude one of the best wide receivers in the motherfucking nation. He's going to the NFL. He's gonna be a millionaire. So I just so you know that nigga ain't your type. Make that nigga your type, and sure shit stink. All of a sudden, this bitch spin the block on Travis, and a couple years later, current day 2026, them folks married with a child. So that is the works of status. That what status can do for a person in this here mating and dating game. Just like another thing that guys don't pay attention to is you can get value points from the opposite sex just off of association when it comes to status. Yeah, it's off of proximity. Right? You can get status just off of proximity. Like, if you're very close to a person to have status, right? Especially if their status is high enough or extreme enough in some of the extreme cases, you can get opportunities that a guy that wasn't within close proximity of a status person wouldn't get. Right? Every year across the United States, some nerd geek whose cousin is the captain of the goddamn football team is inviting him to a damn, popular kid party, house party or some shit. The only the cool kids get invited to, and then nigga end up getting his dick sucked by one of the, the less lower popular female chick that's the slut or whatever the fuck. But to the nerd, this motherfucker is still over it. Like the value of that girl, although she's maybe the lowest status woman at that fucking party, it still is going to be like over the pay grade and status symbol that nerd is. And since he's around his cousin so much, and or would get invited and get in certain rooms with his cousin, some shit popped off to where he ended up fucking on that chick. Right? You can get boxed that way. You can get opportunities that otherwise, if that wasn't the case, of you being in proximity with such a person, you wouldn't get in no lifetime. Right? If you don't have the necessary SMV to naturally pull that woman. Just like maybe if the status is not enough, it may not do the trick. Right? Maybe let's say you best friends with the best speller in the fucking school or what. That ain't enough status. And like women may respect that. They may or you best friends with the mechanic of the high school or whatnot. And the bitches know that he gonna own the shop one day or some shit like that. They may try to finesse y'all to get their car fixed, but that's not gonna be enough status for him to actually get opportunities. It have to be something like on a extreme level. Like maybe a person like, I don't know, you Chris Brown's little cousin or some shit like that. You think a nigga like that ain't fucking down the whole damn high school, even if he a nerd? Fucking right that nigga is. You would have, bro, the only scenario in which you're not fucking down a whole complete high school of all the bad bitches that go there, that or fan of fucking Chris Brown, you probably can fuck some teachers, dude. But the only scenario in which I see you just still can't do that is if you mean the extreme with extreme. Like you're ugly. You just an ugly ass dude. And then women are willing to pass that up. Women are willing because you just that ugly. You're very low on a totem pole of attractiveness. I'm talking about sub 5. I ain't talking about average. I ain't talking about slightly below. I'm talking about you're a sub, probably 3, 2, goddamn. You're down there, dude. Like 800-pound guy with bunions on your face, like something crazy. You got to be something crazy, bro. And even if you that ugly of a person, hoes be like, it's no way in hell you can to Chris Brown, because Chris Brown have like probably the most perfect genes in most women eyes that a woman would want. So if you cousin to Chris Brown, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be either a Giga Chad, showing that you do share the same genes that Chris have, or I would say on average, just an average guy. And if you're an average guy and your cousin is Chris Brown, I'm sorry, you're giving every bad bitch in your school a cream pie. If not teacher. Right? If not one or two of those goddamn promiscuous ass mid 20 something freak ass teachers fucking probably listen to Chris Brown when they off work. Minimum. Right? But when I say status is like the number one end all be all that gets you women, no. Fuck no. Traction will forever champion money and status. It'll forever champion that shit. And the reason why I say this is because you can have status and still not be desired truly by a bitch. Right? You can have status, and she may like that status that you have, but not like you. You can be used. Just like, either way it go, you can look at this shit like a win's a win. Like, that's cool. That's cool. She with me for my status or who I'm close to. I'm gonna get what I can get out of this situation, just like the hoe trying to get what she can get, and we're gonna be good. And some dudes, can turn that shit into biological wins. What does a biological win concern the status? Having a companion and I don't know, procreating your genes to the next fucking generation. Right? Status can do that for you. But is it the best thing to have when it come to getting women? No. Not even close.